highly distant future out in space we roam, with nothing much to border, but we still call it home. Planets full of nothing, and stars that fade away in the economy of nothing. We're here to save the day. Hey, we're passing through the stars, fighting near and far, dodging comets, chasing thieves on par. With lasers blazing bright, we're charging in the fight. In the economy of nothing, we'll win with all our might.
Captain! Captain! There's a proximity alert. Sorry, I was trying to be dramatic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like it's been beeping. I'm hitting the buttons. How do I turn it off?
I don't even remember it. Did I install this? Or did nothing?
There was not a 16 switch. I used to have an Apple Play. I could listen to music. Now I have this button switch system that you've installed.
First off, you forgot how to count. It's 17 switches, Captain.
Well, I don't know these alien squiggles that you've put on this keyboard.
Well, good to know that the proximity alert's going off anyways.
Okay, how do I turn it off?
I don't know.
You're
the captain.
All right,
I'm
let me
driving
get the manual. Okay, all right. 2643. All right. So, do we know what set the proximity sensor off? Do you have some sort of maybe a holographic radar projectimajigger?
I have it. It's like a check engine light on here, but it looks like our car we're in the crosshairs of something. That's what.
Are you sure?
Like.
Yeah. Are you sure that we didn't install like a holographic projector thing? Maybe it looks cool. Maybe it's in 3D. Maybe there's. I'll look in the manual again. Okay, 7469. Okay, look at this. Oh, there seems to be two. I assume the red dots are them. Do you know this much about this system? The red dots.
All I gotta say is
this green triangle us and the red dots
is coming in at a clutch time to really describe the situation. Yeah, I think it's exactly that, Captain.
Okay,
it's definitely a holographic thing in the middle center console that you just said.
How close? I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any sort of like distance markers on this. How close are they to getting to us? Because we probably need to engage them at some point. But I don't know if they're that close.
They're right behind us. There's two of them right behind us. I didn't want to say anything.
So they're not 30 minutes away?
No. They've been following us the whole time.
All right.
They've been.
So should we handle this some way?
I think so.
Use evasive maneuvers.
Okay, I'm gonna use an evasive maneuver. We're gonna get up behind them. You ready? This is our banking maneuver. All right, type in this number, Captain. Ready? When I say go,
yes.
Go. It's 8008135.
I entered.
We're behind him now. We've lost him.
All right.
Did you notice what the maneuver number was, Captain? I was programmed
too busy.
It was boobies. Boobies.
Oh.
With 8008
Okay.
135.
Are we lucky that these guys aren't very good pilots? So we're behind one of them. The other one is assumed it's still out there somewhere. Should we fire on this guy?
Don't worry about it. All right. Maneuver in. We're going to end their life now, Captain. Are you ready? All right. Maneuver 42069. That's going to put us right behind them in target lock mode.
All right. Should I...
Did you put in the number? Put in the freaking number.
I already put in the number.
Okay, but...
I put in the number already.
All right, well, okay. But yeah, no, what you have to do now is hit all 17 switches and then enter. Probably be fast about it because
I remember that. What if they turn?
Just hurry. Boom.
Fire it.
All right.
Uh-oh. The other one's behind us.
This is the greatest dogfight I've ever been a part of, Captain. Let me tell you. I think this will go down in the Nothing Court history books.
You're back in the way that you were dodging these lasers is impressive, Green. I was thinking that perhaps we could do what we might trick them is if you use that same maneuver but in the opposite direction, right? Feint to the left but go to the right. Do you have a numeric value for that?
Yes,
maneuver?
It's called Maneuver 8732.
8732. Calculating. Enter. All right, we're behind him now. We're behind him now.
Why do we unlock maneuvers with, key codes? That it seems like there's a faster way to do it.
Because the nothing corporate, you're not allowed to do anything more than minor course adjustments without the captain entering like the approval code. Bureaucracies.
Also,
we can't just let you do a loop-de-loop whatever the fuck you want.
That wastes gas. Yeah, no,
that wastes gas. Have you seen these prices?
Look, it's so high.
Fuel.
All right, so
get back.
We're back.
Right.
Okay, yeah, we're back
Right.
here again. Okay. You
need
know what?
to give me, I already know the fire code, but I need you to give me verbal confirmation before I can input. I remember it because it's my favorite numbers.
Captain.
But if we could
42069.
42069 entering. Wow. That was pretty great. I enjoyed, I assume, the laser headlights? Is that the headlights?
I guess, man.
The
I don't
lasers?
know. This one's gonna be really funny, or really
right,
terrible.
well, you know what, Greeny? We need to step on it. We need to get back to the dispatch because it's clear that the Skull Pirates are after this J.J. Abrams mystery box, despite all the videos I saw this week for some reason that were like the fall of J.J. Abrams. I don't know. Maybe something's happening I'm unaware of.
I just think the algo is just listening to us. He's probably always been following.
Right. It is probably. Anyway, Greeny, this was what an adventure. I don't want anyone to say this was a boring episode where nothing happened.
As always, folks, economyofnothing.com. You can join the Patreon. You can also find us on all the socials. I believe Facebook, Meta, TikTok.
We have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Stack,
a Substack.
We're on every major podcasting platform. Obviously, the YouTube channel, and of course, most importantly, economyofnothing.com,
where you can watch them all for free.
You go to the Codex. Well, you can watch them all for free if you pay us $3 on Patreon. Think about that.
Which $3 is basically free.
$3 is the new $1. I did it first, Mike, before anyone else.
That's true. That's so
but
true.
it is crazy now that I that's what I did when I was doing that on Patreon. But now I'm like, oh, okay, what's the new $3? $9.
$9.
We
$17.
go with a tier that's like we just need 4 people to give us like $1,500, and we need to get some big spot. We need a big sponsor. All right, we need someone will sponsor you. We'll have the captain and Mr. Green do your product in a cartoon or something. They'll eat your cereal on screen.
Yeah, we're open for business. So
Ovaltine, are you still in business? Sponsor radio plays again.
Listen, the Nothing Corp pays us hourly. They don't pay us to pre-plan a plan. We just hop in this thing, take our J.J. Abrams mystery box to wherever it needs to go. Now, if I understand correctly,
well, I mean,
no. You said the robot gave us the right box, but because you made me rush him to get the box, he gave us the wrong one. Am I wrong?
Well, we were supposed to deliver the box to Brenner 7, and we just didn't know that there were more than one Brenner 7 in the cosmos. We assumed that it was a pretty unique name. You'd think since they've already numbered the Brenners that many times, they could just keep using the numbering system and not have 2 Brenners with different names. You know what I mean? We're having a real Holly Street, Holly Road situation happening here, you know?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know that half of the planets in the universe are Roman numeral numbered and the other half are regular numbers. So this is a common mistake that seems to keep happening.
Well, we obviously could have been making that no, we went to Brenner Aramaic.
Well, I'm just
7.
saying, if you would
Brenner
have
with
me,
a
maybe
Y,
we wouldn't have
Aramaic
done this.
7, as
Just
opposed
saying.
to Brenner with an E Aramaic 7, not to be confused with Brenner with an E Roman numeral 7. Now, we just have to assume in the infinite of the cosmos that there would also be a Brenner with a Y Roman numeral 7. So, I mean, of the 4 planets we could have possibly gone to, we didn't go to the right one.
You know what?
That's okay.
I'm not gonna argue. We got a 30-minute ride to the new Brenner 7 to drop off the box that should be there. So at least there's that.
I just think it's ridiculous that we're responsible for the I guess this is our fault. I guess we've messed up. This is entirely our fault.
This is what happens
This
when
is
you
anyone
rush
else's fault.
the robot at
Is this
nothing.
This is the episode where we learn about personal responsibility, Greenie. This is our fault, and we'll take account for the fact that we went to the wrong planet. Now, is this a system where maybe with the thousands of hours we've had to wait for the box, like someone could have checked? Maybe. You know what I mean?
I don't think it leaves this aircraft, because I'm certainly not going to admit it to anyone.
Blame the robot when we get back.
For sure.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I can hire a hacker.
Ooh. We could hack the robot.
Don't worry about the fine details. Let's talk about something today. What do you say? You know, there's just been nothing to watch on television as of late. I do have something to talk about. Have you ever seen the old TV show, a streaming television show called The Boys, the final season that's on right now? Well, in the past, distant past, future?
I've seen, Greenie, I was transported to the future before the end of The Boys, so I didn't get to see the end of The Boys, but let's assume I got to see like the first 3 seasons of The Boys.
Listen, I'm not saying that. I think the season of The Boys, I think The Boys in general is a good show. I think it's a fun take on superheroes. However, I will say the writing is a bit on the nose. Like, you can't even escape the economy of nothing in The Boys. It is just basically, what if the worst things happen to superheroes? The same thing that's happening now to superheroes. And you're just like, can we just let's just put a little fucking thought and effort into it. Not everything has to be I get that the old saying is, and remember that movie Unbreakable? Not Unbreakable, or Sixth Sense. Yeah, maybe it was Unbreakable. Whatever. Samuel Jackson.
Unbreakable, he's allergic to what? Yeah, you're thinking of Unbreakable.
And his old shtick in it, he's the bad guy, but he says that he believes that everything is something because it was envisioned before. So by that rationale, superheroes exist. It's like we're living through that. Everyone's because somebody drew someone flying on a magic carpet, Aladdin must be real. It's so stupid. Everyone has a voice on the dumbest fucking thing in the world. I know this is a stretch to go back to The Boys. My point is not everything has to be exactly what's going on in society. You can pretend and at least people give George R. R. Martin a lot of flack, but you know what? At least he took the time to create a world. Yeah, he hasn't finished it yet, but he created a world. Does it have similarities? Yes. But are there different rules for it? Absolutely. And not everything is exactly what's happening. It's just very annoying to me. I'm trying to escape this shit.
I think but I think kind of the problem is that The Boys is what we wanted, and now we have it, and everyone's like, I didn't want this. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have watched so many seasons of The Boys if you didn't want The Boys to go this way.
The problem is they own everything, so they can just they spoon feed it to us when things are relevant now. They've been sitting on this season, much like they sat on Stranger Things for 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't sit on it. They just weren't going to plan on producing it.
And I know
they absolutely had to.
I was about to say maybe this isn't the time to talk about it, but this is the best time ever to talk about it while we're on the podcast about our cartoon show we never talk about. Patreon.com/economy of nothing. But it's one of the reasons that I want to do a show now with the podcast. I care that it's weekly, and then when we're doing the animated series, I want to do a bunch of episodes every season. It's just so lame. It's so lame. It's so lame. These we're in this weird mini movie, mini series of verse where every movie wants to be a TV show and every TV show wants to be a movie, and everything is lame. It's this minimum. I heard someone say at work a long time ago, MVP, minimum viable product, right? And like
That's
I
a
feel
great
like
term.
that is what our entire society is doing. The minimum viable product for the maximum possible profit, right? So it's like, let's just crank out shit.
Yeah, one of the things that I have to say is that I was really just like, as you know, always investing for the future. I play both sides, right? Because I have to support the family and whatnot. So I'm constantly thinking of ways of like, how can you possibly invest and beat the market or like be better than the others, right? And then I start like breaking down in my mind, like, what do humans really do? Like, what is absolutely valuable no matter what the circumstance? Like, consumer staples, utilities, things of that nature. And I think about this to myself, and one of the things that I think about is there's only a few jobs that we humans can actually even do anymore. That like I mean, George Carlin said it best when he said we've made up what you said that we've made up. Go ahead and say it. Just say it.
I'm not sure exactly which George Carlin quote you're gonna do.
You know, we made up a secret language bit.
They've designed a language to disguise their sins.
Yeah, in the same way that they've done that, they've also everybody has described a language within their field that hides the fact that it's
Yeah.
not basic. Like, as much as like the hardest part of accounting, Mike, accounting captain, you were an accounting major at the academy. The hardest part about accounting, I think you'll agree with me, is not the actual accounting work. It's memorizing all the different new measures people have made up to justify their actions from an
Right.
accounting sense. And it's constantly changing and evolving, and that's why people in the accounting field constantly have to keep their certification up to date every 1 to 5 years or something. But the same thing can be applied to insurance, the same thing can be applied to engineering, the same thing can be applied to all these different fields, except one: sales. And most of everything is sales. And if it's not sales, it's a service you're providing and it's a product you're making, or you're selling the product to someone. But the reality is, if any one of us wanted to go out today and start a business to build a product, just a physical product, like, there's no way you could do it. I just don't think, like, everyone's scale is way too big. And maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I just
no,
don't
no,
see
I
how
think
you could scale and like compete at
you
this point from like nothing compared to somebody who like already has
yeah,
money.
well, and
Like,
of
now you'd
course,
have to, your retirement dream would have to be to
because
start a business now, like, basically to do
yes, yes,
it.
you'd have to have enough capital to weather such like a long amount of time. And the other thing is, there's no like, all the channels are already blocked. Like, okay, you're going to start your business. Then what are you going to do? It's like ad spends on like social media or something. And it's like, well, you're going to get outspent. There's nothing you can do, right? What are you going to have your baristas do a TikTok, right? Or whatever. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't
so
know. Like,
that's what I was
there's like,
thinking. I was just like, okay, so like Uber would be a company to invest in, because literally, if you're not doing your own, like, one of the ways to do your own business is like, oh, you just rely on a company that has the infrastructure already set up for you to be your own boss from like a, but nobody wants to do Uber unless like whatever the pay is a lot of money to you to do it. But you know what I mean? Like, you're not really reaping the benefits. Uber's reaping the benefits, but you get enough benefits. It's like now
oh
even
man,
jobs have been like sublet out. Like, you're allowed to have these jobs only.
dude, there's so many
Yeah.
like, dude, there's so many like all these job boards and stuff. They all want you to have. They're all like subscription based and shit, and they all have like tokens for like applying to.
Yeah,
It's
man.
it's a madhouse. It is a like I. It's just one of those things. I'm sorry, I just can't respect anyone because no one could be doing anything because there's just money being stripped away from me at like every turn. So I see anyone with any money and I'm like, well, it had to have come from that happening to everybody, right? Like, no one, you didn't do a thing and people went, that's so good. I really want to give you the amount of money that you got from me, right? No, that's
Yeah.
never, you know what I mean? Like,
So what's crazy is that I've learned is that
people don't want to.
I started in the trade field, right? Like, I did something that actually required a discipline in order to know that if you're, it's like a layman's term, engineering type of job. But you had to learn different methodologies to find certain things based off, math and shit and different methods. But the point is, and then you come out of that, I switch industries, I do a bunch of different industries, and then I end up in sales. And then when you're in sales, you start to like understand finance a little bit more. You have friends doing different things, and I'm trying to understand this. And like, I have one friend working at a bank who talks to me about risk and basically says a bunch of words about like numbers and equations and like, and it's like, okay, so like this is all just the internal language of what finance is. It's the same thing from The Big Short when you take CDOs and PPOs and you shove them together, and it's all bullshit anyways. It'll eventually collapse. We're not going to talk about how the fact is going to collapse because we don't want people to know that it's going to collapse because everything's built on trust and fake acronyms that we make up on the fly. So
Yes,
all
this
of
is the
that
thing
shit is fake, is my point. There's nothing
Yes.
real. And then you go on the other side of it, and it's like it's Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, and it's like because blockchain is a product looking for a solution that no one really has, when the reality is it started as just a way for like criminals and drug dealers to trade stuff, and now somehow that has value in digital art in in a metaverse world that no one wants to live in. Somehow
Thing
that
is,
has value. Like,
supply and demand is broken. Like you'll watch people on like financial shows, and they'll talk about these people with these products going to market with venture capital for billions and billions of dollars, saying, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna find the demand," and it's like a a market and economy, whatever, cannot be built on the capital hoping for demand down the road, right? Like that's just like not going to work. None of these businesses are sustainable. They all go up to Congress like once a year and explain how if they were regulated at all, they wouldn't be able to stay in business, right? Like YouTube will go up there and be like, well, no, if we had to like moderate our videos, we wouldn't be able to be in business. It's like, okay, what, does everyone have a right to be in fucking business? Right? I don't understand. If you can't enjoy society with us in your company doesn't have a right to exist. What is this? Right? Like, well, if Facebook was responsible for the pedophilia on it, then like how would we be able to operate? I'm like, then you probably shouldn't be able to operate. Like, what are we doing? But back to our point, people are like, well, no, dude, I do so much. All these like people who are like, I do so much sales on Facebook. It's really, you know what I mean? But it's like, no, you don't. Your sales are controlled by Facebook.
yeah, I mean, if anything, you're pandering to Facebook so that you get sales. So then who's actually in control? Your company that's online, or Facebook?
Yeah,
It's
there's
almost the
there's
same argument you could make for when you shoot international movies and you're trying to get international audiences to watch. Who are you pandering to? Americans or international ones? Because it's not for one or the other. Like, you're basically making a movie that fits everyone, which is impossible, and those aren't good movies. And that's what's wrong with cinema. Thank you. Somebody pay me, Hollywood.
yeah, well, it's the minimum viable product. It's like, okay, we need 3 actors whose names you've heard. We need 6 locations. We need 4 action scenes. Like, you know what I mean? There's just a checklist, right? Why? Like,
Yeah, and I think I need to say this because I think it's important, and I believe this, and I feel that it's true, and I hope you short it. But um, it's a
Big
quote.
Short it.
It's a quote from Plato. Man's significance is that he can imagine a better world and will some parts of it, at least, into reality. And I believe that that is what we should all be trying to strive for. I think that it gets a bad rap. I think people sometimes like to call things like that woke. And it's like, okay, so Plato ain't woke. Plato's been a long time before you. The point is,
I
yeah,
know, man.
the point is, philosophy is the start of everything, and the ability to think freely and have conversations about, I don't know, just how we live our lives and what we generally accept to be like good laws and practices and how to uphold it and stuff. Like, in that respect, the system is 100% broken. It's being led by people who like rules for thee, not for me. And it's very apparent, and it's just like, if we want the world to get better, and not just the entire world, we have to really like look at that statement, each one of us, and ask, how can I make the world a better place? Each day. That's what we should all be doing. If you can make tomorrow or today better than the day yesterday in some way, with some action, with some saying, like that's a start. And I think good things happen from that.
I mean, it starts with like people need to start holding themselves accountable, right? Like the reason that we can't hold anyone accountable in positions of power is because no one's holding themselves accountable, right? I remember like when like the Me Too movement happened, and of course nothing actually ever came of that, I guess. But there was like this real thing of people being like, I felt anyway, of people being like, whoa, we gotta slow down. We can't make this become like a witch hunt or whatever. I'm like, what do you got going on with you that we can't hold these like super bad guys accountable, right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, it was very.
It's like it was so weird.
Kelly.
It was like, whoa. It's like, yo, I don't know. Like, yeah, but we got to be. And I'm like, I just like I'm not a saint, but like the things that these people were accused of were like so far beyond the pale of like anything that like I could imagine a rational person thinking was okay, to have people be so defensive about it, right? And then the president gets to run with it, right? He takes that like 2%, and then you got all these people being like, what a hard time out here for these men, which it is, frankly, but not for that reason. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
Not because anyone's being held account for their bullshit.
It's funny when you like
right?
when people get held accountable for
it's
like,
hard because
the
no
rules
one's
today.
being held account for their bullshit, right?
Yeah.
My life would be much easier if all of these people were held account for their bullshit, right?
Yeah, everyone's life would
in my
easier.
way.
Yeah.
Like,
all these people that are just like completely taking up space, blocking your way to success. We could take them down. Let's do it.
yes, right? Like the mechanisms are there. Like all of these people have done enough things to be taken down. But like everyone's so scared. We don't have to do anything. Like we can all just vote secretly. Do you know what you know, like we already have this system to all like vote secretly for like.
You don't. Guess what? You don't
friends,
have to tell someone who you voted for.
You
don't have to.
You know,
I don't know. Like,
you
I
can
feel
tell
like
everyone
people...
at church you voted for Donald Trump. You're like, oh, I'm really mad. All this woke stuff happening. You could just say that to your friends. It's fine, and vote the right way. But like, I think you should talk.
You know what's crazy to me is that.
Shit, but like,
what's crazy to me is that basically the whole financial system moved to the blockchain overnight and told no one. Yet we can't move.
We've been screaming about it on this podcast.
I know. Yeah. Yet we can't move voting over to the blockchain. It's supposed to be immutable and like not like that's too impossible.
They don't want people voting. This is like we're at the problem that Thomas Paine talks about in Common Sense, where like the idea of our representative democracy is like that the representatives are supposed to be from and of the people, right? They're supposed to like come. No representatives are from where they're representing. None of them go back there at any time. No one's actually held accountable to any of it, right? Because it's all this big national politic of like, well, you need to vote for your Republican or your Democrat because 9 ways down the line it means something to the Supreme Court, which, by the way, no, it doesn't. Look what's been happening the whole time, right? But like people...
No, it doesn't. Look what's been happening the whole time. My thing is, we probably need... Like, I know everything's by county, but like everything needs to be. You need to have more representatives in smaller, right? Because like it'll be like for I don't know, Gaston County.
Who's on your city council, right?
Like no one knows that. No one really knows that. Yeah, no one's going to city council meetings, and maybe that's on us. Maybe we should all start going.
Right?
Is that something we should all do?
Like it's one of these things where we're like we can't march to like the White House or whatever. But a thing that you like people need to also realize is that so many of these like terrible federal policies just can't be enacted without local cooperation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course the problem is that no one has any relationship with any representative they have at any level. So the feds just come in and go, like, we're going to cut your funding for this. And the town or whoever has no relationship with their constituents other than the fact that like things generally work around the town so people don't get uppity enough to like do anything about it, right? So like, oh, he just has to kowtow to the federal money, right? They can't go make a case to their constituents because their constituents aren't there to vote for them and they're not there to talk to their constituents. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean, and I get it. I understand. Like, they made it hard on purpose, right?
you think about, well, you know
I
why
mean,
the
over
drinking
time.
age,
Yeah.
you know why the drinking age in America is
All
21
right, just hold up, and we get back to that.
was.
My point
Okay,
is, we have communication services, i.e. the internet, i.e. YouTube, podcast, every type of way to listen to music, TV, podcasts, and don't forget ads. But my point being is like, yet we have all these ways to be informed, but the things that people should be informed on are never pushed because that all has a bias to it. But I would just say in general, everything could be a lot more open and honest. We have the ability for everyone to make those decisions because everybody's walking around with the phone in their pocket that has the internet, yet we will not do it out of fear both ways. Like, is the fear that if we give everyone actually the ability to vote on these things, would they vote the right way? Would they vote the wrong way? You know, like as far as like human decency and morals and shit go. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it seems. I mean, no, it's fairly obvious that like the voter suppression goes one way, right? The bad guys suppress the vote, right? Like if the more people that can vote, the more like progressive and better off a society is, right? They're just kind of
because you'd have more representation, right? Isn't that the
yes,
idea?
right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's pretty simple. You think about like why don't the rich white people want the poor black people to vote? Because they'll probably vote for things that take money from the rich white people and give it to the poor black people. But that would probably make things better for everyone because equality and equity is good things. Because a thing that like I think maybe some people will start to realize now is like because you're on the other end of the stick, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you think that you might be in some group and some other person's in another group or this or that or the other thing, and you're like, well, it's they're the problem, and we'll go after them, and it won't come from me. I'm holding this. Once there's not another person at the end of the stick, you're up, right? Like, what are they going to stop pushing people off the edge with the pointy stick or whatever this metaphor is, right? Like,
no.
No.
Like, I mean, we joke about the Fallout TV show about like that whole premise just being, oh, we'll just start nuclear war to, spur growth. It's like, I used to laugh at that, but it's almost kind of like, well, I mean, at a certain point, what do you do? Like,
I mean, I guess I'll break this George Carlin quote out. I had cut it out of the other one I did, but I guess given that this past week, when Donald Trump was like, I don't care about people's finances or whatever, very, very reminiscent of George Bush saying he doesn't care about Osama bin Laden. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But there's a George Carlin quote. It's at the end of the other bit that I had put up. He's like, people need to learn the government doesn't give a fuck about you. They don't care. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. They're interested in their own fucking wealth generation or whatever.
I mean, yeah.
No one.
Yeah. Did you know that Trump going to China this week is like the first time that's ever happened ever? Like people need to know. All right. So first off, Russia touched down in Alaska. That's never happened. I was stationed in Alaska Air Force Base. It's a super top secret base. You would not want Vladimir Putin to touch down there. We're probably in cahoots with them, or they have a bunch of our information now. Pretty much guaranteed. Just by the fact that he touched down. Second, now we are going to China. What's up?
No. Nothing. I was like, I know. It's so funny. In case anyone forgot, from 10 years ago, we've known this for a decade.
Yeah. Okay. So then today, President this week goes to see China. Shangping or whatever to like work on the Iran situation. They'll say whatever it is. The reality is no president has ever gone to China to talk, right? If that isn't some kiss the ring bullshit, like I'm bowing down, I need your help, like I think the dude's squirming. I think he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, or he doesn't care. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Well,
It doesn't
they brought
seem.
all the
You know what I mean? It's like your fight, you caused it, yet now you're going over there. Like, if this is the first time ever China's had an upper hand on us, I just don't see good things coming from it. Like, I mean, we did all this tariff nonsense. I just imagined it's going to, like, somehow hurt the consumer in some way. Like, just like everything else has.
Here's a maybe a lapse. I don't know. I'm sure I'm right, I guess. As I was going to qualify.
Like, if our own government doesn't care about us, China doesn't care about us.
Well, you have to remember that China owns most of our debt.
They own, like, all of it. Not all of it. They own most of it, but that's
the
whole
word.
market.
That's the word I was looking for. I didn't want to like overstate, but I'm like they own most of our debt, and so I don't know, man. We have to work it out here on the podcast because how else is we're going to do it but in public, right? But this is all related. Like, this is all about shifting the debt somewhere so that they can take the money they've stolen over the last, 20 years, right? So they need to shove the debt off somewhere.
The blockchain.
Yes. Right?
They're going to tie to DeFi protocols and not know where it went.
But they need China on board.
Yeah.
So he's over there to give them Chinese whatever they want so that the Chinese will let them do whatever tricky dick bullshit they want to do over here, right?
And then we're all going to be paying in crypto on Visa cards somehow. It's happening.
Man,
CBDCs are definitely happening. Oh my God, we're screwed, guys. We are we're going back to like 1950s, but like in a technological future. Where you can only spend money when we say to on things you don't want or don't need. It's like living through Fight Club, except like you have to live through it. You don't get to fight.
Yeah, man. It does like it is one of those things where I try and be optimistic as we're doing the show. We're heroes in the future and stuff. But yeah, man. The worst is yet to come. Right? Like, I hate to be the bearer of obvious fucking information to everyone, but like, oh yeah, no, tomorrow all of a sudden, right? Like, what?
The worst part is just like, here's the fact they give every time that they want to be like, oh, it's not that bad. This is the fact they give now. It'll be like, the boomers are about to hand off the most wealth there ever been, generational wealth, to millennials, and you're like, no, they're not, because you keep taking up inflation, and they live longer now. So yeah, I mean, if every boomer died like right now, and we all got, that's assuming that you even have a boomer parent still alive. You know what I mean?
And that your parents have like mine. Like, not everyone's parents have extra. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like the average American that isn't, or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
what are these averages of? Like, are these? Dude, I hear some of the numbers and I'm like, who the hell? I mean, I know there's some poor places to live, but like, I can't fathom being under the poverty line, which is what, like under 38K now. Or is it under that?
I have no idea. I know the average American makes like $35,000 a year,
and that's crazy. Who can afford anything at $35,000 a year? Who?
And again,
and how are they stealing money from those people? It's just debt, right? Like, they're just debt, probably.
Yeah,
so they're stealing. They're stealing fake money that doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
in a
right.
Way,
like,
right?
Yes, but what they're actually like, if you want to talk about the forensic accounting of it all, right? What they're doing is stealing people's labor, right? And they're using that labor for their profit, right?
And then they're tokenizing it for AI, and then only companies can buy the tokens. And then the companies are the ones that also distribute the tokens.
Dude, I have seen job postings that are like, this comes with whatever. Well, no one even bothers to act like they're giving you benefits anymore. But like let's pretend they post like the salary and the benefits, like a job would ever do that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, and you get X number of token credits per month or whatever for AI. I'm like,
Oh, cool. That's just what I
like,
want.
like,
Token credits for
like
AI.
this is a perk. You know, sometimes they used to reimburse gas money. Sometimes jobs used to.
Not with this job. Yeah, they're thinking that AI is going to be used so much it'll be more like a regulated utility. Like, you know what? The top may be in.
Like it's one of these things like we're like, it's just not good, right?
Yeah.
And I mean from like an objective, like, no, haven't we all played with, like, if you've played with it at all, you have to be aware of its limitations now. There can't be someone actually using AI being like, this is really great. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
No.
who's like actually like, who's using, like, obviously there's a million people using it and they're dumb and they think what they're doing is great or whatever. But anyone who has skills and knowledge in some
In
sort
anything.
of
I
task,
barely
and-
use it because I
and-
think it's
and-
kind of dumb.
and has and you just have, right? If you have unless you're like one of the people like, you know, took some stance against it, but like 4 years ago or whatever, right, when I was implementing it in a bunch of stuff, it's now like all the way out, right? It like helped fill some gaps, but like once you know how to do something, why would you waste your time, right? Like people who will like type out pages and pages to have it spit them out like a page of text or whatever, and it's like, we just write a page.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Or
silly.
someone like, for me, it doesn't make sense to like, well, help me make a PowerPoint slide. All I've done in my life is learn how to make great PowerPoint slides. I can't prompt this thing enough to make it as fine, detailed, and innovative as what I would do for a PowerPoint slide. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Like,
or like writing
like,
bullets or something. Like I just write better than that thing could write it. And I waste more time prompting it to write something better. It doesn't.
yes.
And on top of that, because it's so obvious to tell when AI has written something at this point, it just sounds like the smartest person in the world is giving a bullet, and half of it's fluff. I don't care what anyone says. You can lie through your teeth at me all day, but
Yeah.
50% of the stuff that everything spits out is fluff. It could be said so much easier and quicker.
Yes. And the other 50% is factually inaccurate. Right? Like it just is.
It tells
Like,
you what you want to hear. It's a sycophant for sure.
I'm just at the point now where like I only use it as like I go to Gemini instead of Google search because Google search then just pulls up Gemini. So what's the fucking
What's
point?
the point?
Right?
Yeah, I know.
And
And I'm pretty sure everybody's
but-
like everybody that isn't like the Mag 7 is locking down their data. So it just like when you look for something that's obscure, you'll see just barely anything out there because now everyone's like Reddit's locked so much of its users in house now, which is kind of the opposite of what you want with AI. Everything should be open. Hence the name OpenAI.
Yeah, I'm using like this. Well, of course, in like this is the fucking thing, right? This is what we all knew was going to happen, or anyone who was paying any attention, right? Is they make it big open, they steal everyone's work and everyone's information and everyone's writing and stuff, and then they close the door, right?
Wall guarded.
There's this. I was looking at jobs again, and on this one site, I'm trying a new site, trying to figure anything out, and I'm on this one site, and after a little, I could tell right away not what I was going to do. I can't remember the name of the site now, but it was very apparent. I was looking, I'm like, oh, they're farming interviews to train their AI on interviews. That is what this entire website is.
Damn,
it's like
that's
cold,
huh? That's
and like because they have like this. There's like a whole system set up there where like you apply for a job, but like your resume will be put out to other stuff. So you have a bunch of different statuses and all. You know what I mean? So it's meant to make you feel like you're moving through a bunch of processes. And so of course I went and looked, and people were like, I did like 5 interviews and it got this, and I'm like, yeah, you're training their fucking AI. That's what you're doing. Like you're like that's what all. I assumed that I haven't done any AI interviews. I refuse. I'm not going to be interviewed by an AI.
My wife did one.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't been hired. I apologize to the universe, I guess. But like, I can't. I refuse to like demean myself that way.
I mean, I think
know
it's
what I mean?
good. I mean, more people should do that. That way, like they're like trying to force it down our throats, just so that we don't
Yeah.
have like a major recession and people have to try again.
And I can it's like, but I can just sit there and be like, well, I wasn't gonna get that job anyway. Do you know what? Like, so like,
honestly, I wouldn't waste my time with AI interviews. It's not.
yeah, man.
Like that's just like
Like-
more steps of not getting a job.
Yeah, man. Like, spend 20 minutes after I already like filled a bunch of crap out. Like, they're getting sinister too. They put all the worst steps at like the last step, so they make you fill everything else out, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, here's a bunch of bullshit questions that you're obviously not going to answer, and just leave this fucking resume site for good." Right? You know what I mean?
That's
yeah,
great.
man.
I
like,
hate that shit. If like, here's
Yeah,
100 questions. It's just 30 minutes of your time, and you're like, no, not doing it. It's so dumb. And because
dude,
like,
I've wasted so much fucking time, dude. So much time.
on
Right?
a no,
Like, just like,
on a no, just to get another no, or not even a no. Half the time they don't even